And then we found a couple places that had like leather jackets, but they're super baggy. And I'm like, what is up with this boyfriend style? Like, why is everything baggy?
Yeah.
I'm not into it. And so I'm about to give up, and I go into the Levi's store, and right there's a lady working, and she's like, hey, are you looking for something specific? I was like, yes, a leather jacket. And she's like, great, I have one of those. And she was so excited. I was like, sweet. And so we go over, and she points to it, and she's like, okay, so this is the women's jacket, so it's going to be a little bit more fitted. I was like, oh no. And she's like, or if you want it to be baggier, you can go to the men's section. I was like, why would I do that? And so I tried it on, and instantly my best friend and I are looking at me, looking in the mirror, and I'm like, bam, I look hot.
Hello and welcome. I'm Bretagne.
I'm Johanna.
And I'm Anike, and you're listening to Dare to Try podcast. Hi, everyone. I can't believe it's been another week already. How many podcasts is this? We must have been doing 6 weeks in?
I think we're 6 weeks in, but I have a hard time counting the first one because we literally spent an hour and a half talking about what it would be like to do a podcast.
Yeah, but I just can't believe how fast it's gone. Every week is just flying by. But I had a lot of fun this week with our Truth and Dare. So just to recap, our truth was about when was the last time you felt unworthy. And then the dare was to go treat yourself, to go shopping and buy something over $100 that you would not normally buy and feel like you are worthy of wearing something expensive. So with that said, I want to share a thought about it before we talk about our experiences. I found 2 quotes that I just really, really loved. The first one is, your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. So you have value, and it is constant. And just because someone else can't see that does not diminish it. The second quote is, when you know your worth, no one can make you feel worthless. So it kind of goes together. A lot of times people would say like, oh, my ex just, he made me feel like crap all the time. Or that person like hurt my feelings. It made me feel really stupid or foolish or whatever it is. But if you know your worth, you know your value, it cannot be diminished, and you will never feel worthless. So just some really important lessons in those quotes.
Love that.
I love that. Thank you, Anike. And I love that you did 2 quotes because they really build on each other.
Yeah, thanks. So with that said, how was your guys' experience shopping? Were you guys able to complete this dare?
Yes. Can I go first?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, you guys, it was amazing. It was so much fun. I have it recorded for social media. I have a couple of videos, but I haven't posted them yet. I went into one store that I was sure I was going to find something because it was something I've been wanting, I've been needing, but it wasn't exactly a splurge item. It was, this is practical. I've been waiting to get it because it's expensive. And I go in, I found it, it fit, it was great, the lady was great, but it just didn't feel like I'm getting this because I'm worthy. I'm getting this because it's cold and I really need a new coat. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to wait. And so I told the lady, thank you, but you put it on hold, but I don't know if I'll be back. So then I'm walking down the mall and I see it. The store that I've been in only one time, but turned around and walked right out because it is a little pricier than I like to spend. And so I go in and the smell of the leather, the beautiful colors, the shoes. I walked into the store called Freebird, which sells authentic leather boots. And they are gorgeous. The experience was amazing. The salespeople actually stayed open for me because they were closing. And I told them about the podcast and why I needed boots. And they helped me pick several different options and try on a bunch. And I felt like Pretty Woman. I felt like Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman. It was amazing. Crosby and Samantha made the whole experience just phenomenal. And I told them I'd give them a shout out. I was like, you guys have no idea. And then I decided not to get them. And I turned around and was like, I really want these, but this is a lot of money. So I'm going to go home and sleep on it. And they, again, no pressure. They said, that's okay. We are just glad you came in. We're excited about your podcast. We're excited about you. Can you just come hang out with us? It was this fantastical experience. And I go home and I literally go to bed almost immediately. And I wake up thinking about these black alligator boots. And I decided, okay, I am going to get these boots because I'm worth it. And I waited all day until Jason could go to the store with me. And I wore an outfit that was perfect for them. And we walk in, Samantha's like, oh, you're back. She grabs them. She tells the other customers, the other sales associates, why I'm here and why, this is such a big deal. And I got my boots and I wore them the rest of the day and then all day the next day. And it was fabulous.
That's awesome. So what was the price tag? You have to let us know.
It was over $100.
That's good.
That was much.
Like more than double, over 100.
Yeah, real leather, I would think they're like $300 or something, but that's awesome. They're gonna last forever.
Yeah.
And they're probably really comfortable.
Surprisingly, even with the heel, one of my most comfortable pair of shoes ever. And I danced in them immediately, you guys.
That's how you know.
It was so much fun. And I already was like, okay, when I go on the podcast, I got to give a shout out to Freebird at Park Meadows Mall in Denver, Colorado. Samantha and Crosby are amazing. And I just want to sing their praises. So I got to find them on social because it wasn't just the boots. It wasn't just the dare, but it was sharing the experience with them that really warmed my soul.
That's awesome. And 10 or 20 years from now, you're going to still have those boots because they're going to last forever. And you're going to think of that experience and you're going to think I would have never bought those boots if it wasn't for someone daring me to do it and feeling like I was worthy to have them.
Absolutely.
That's so cool. The perfect experience. I'm glad you went first.
Thank you.
All right, Johanna, let's hear it.
Oh boy. Okay. So when you first told me about this and daring us and everything, I was like, oh, okay. I like shopping. But I was very hesitant. I really had to convince myself to agree to this and like it and everything. Because I already told you that I had already gone shopping for family pictures and already spent a lot of money because I am worth it. And a lot of me, I've come a long way from my insecurities. And so a lot of the time I do feel like I'm worth it and I don't need to spend a lot of money to feel that way. But then you asked me, the truth question of when was the last time you felt worthless? And that came that kept on coming to my mind. And I was like, okay, I put myself down a lot actually. So I still have stuff to work on. And I see other people and I'm like, wow, you're beautiful, you're womanly, and I'm not that as womanly, I'm not your kind of womanly. And so I was thinking my opinion isn't of value, or to my older siblings or family members and everything that seem all well put together, my opinion isn't valued. And so I remember seeing people my age and I'm like, wow, the way you dress, you look like you know how life should be. And I have tried in the past to wear that same outfit and I couldn't find it. I went to Ross, the discount store, and I tried on the clothes and I wouldn't look good. I was like, okay, it's cheap clothes, that's why. So I would go to the higher brand stores. I'm like, okay, like I need to spend more money, and it still didn't look good on me. So I was like, this is stupid. And so, I was having a really hard time with this challenge, to be honest. And so I was just really trying to decide like what I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, I committed to this. I'm going to take the challenge. And so I was like, okay, what do I want? Originally, I thought like a dress or a hat or something that would turn heads. But as I was getting ready for, going out with my best friend, I don't really like that fashion on me. I like dressing up, but to feel authentic to me. I don't want to feel like I'm dressing up like Halloween, And so I was like, okay, that's just not my style. So what's going to work for me? And I thought a leather jacket. And I've had leather jackets before. But all the ones I had I like grew out of or, wore out or whatever, because they weren't authentic or anything. Authentic leather. And so I was just thinking, okay, like I'm going to go. And so I went shopping with my best friend. I told her about this. And we went to every single high-end store in the mall. And we went to like a really expensive place in town too. So everything was expensive and I couldn't find it. And then we found a couple places that had like leather jackets, but they're super baggy. And I'm like, what is up with this boyfriend style? Like, why is everything baggy?
Yeah.
I'm not into it. And so I'm about to give up, and I go into the Levi's store, and right there's a lady working, and she's like, hey, are you looking for something specific? I was like, yes, a leather jacket. And she's like, great, I have one of those. And she was so excited. I was like, sweet. And so we go over and she points to it and she's like, okay, so this is the women jacket. So it's going to be a little bit more fitted. I was like, oh no. And she's like, or if you want it to be baggier, you can go to the men's section. I was like, why would I do that? And so I tried it on, and instantly my best friend and I are looking at me, looking in the mirror, and I'm like, bam, I look hot. And so I was just so excited because I found something that resonated me. And rewind a little, just like some stores, when we couldn't find the jacket, my best friend was just saying, you know what, maybe it's just not in style. Maybe leather jackets aren't in style. I was like, it's in my style. I don't care if it's not in anyone else's style. It's in my style. And so I was so glad that I finally found the jacket that fit me. And it wasn't the boyfriend style. It wasn't baggy. It wasn't whatever. It was exactly my personality. And I was so excited. And what I realized through this experience is that no matter how many times I try to look like someone else, I don't look like that. If I see it on Pinterest, I see it in a picture, I see it on a movie, I don't look like that. And so thinking that I'm not worth it to them, or, whoever I'm talking to, is not applicable, because I'm not them. I shouldn't be comparing myself to them. And so I found something that was my style, that I wanted to feel confident in. And now I could totally return this jacket, but I would wear it any day that I feel like nothing looks good on me, because I know for a fact I will look good in that jacket no matter what. Like, it was so good. And what even was better is that before I even knew the price, I was like, I'm buying this. All right, let's look at the price tag. It was $150. And I'm like, holy smokes. Yikes. And so I committed to it, and I'm putting in my card, and she's like, oh, do you want to be a rewards member? And I was like, sure. Not a credit card, so sure. And it took 50% off. And there was already a sale going on, which took an additional 20% off. And
so how much did you get it for?
$60.
Oh my.
Yep. And you know what? I was like, I know it's not over $100, but I committed to it before I knew. And I was like, it still counts.
It does count. And that's what I love about that story, Johanna. You one, committed to, I want something. I don't care if it's in style. I don't care if anyone else likes it. I'm doing this for me. And you really hit on a lot of people, I think, including myself, struggle with the comparison trap, where social media, Hollywood, advertisements, they often show the same style, the same size people, the same look. And because we have all these different apps and all these different outlets, and yet they all show the exact same or very similar image, we start to think there's something wrong with us because we don't have that style, or we don't have that look. And I love that you stopped and said, hang on, I'm not doing this to look like any of them. I'm doing this to look like me.
Yeah, I love that too. And Bretagne, you're absolutely right. There's in magazines, I mean, we've all seen it, and women, I think, still read magazines. And if not, they still follow magazine type media on social media, where it'll say like, who wore it better? And it's like two famous people wearing the exact same dress, whether it was, I'm pretty sure it was all accidental. Like they had the same designer, or I don't know how it happens, but they have the exact same dress and they say, who wore it better? And we literally are reading this like comparing of who wore it better. And then they're not even original because they have people who dress them instead of saying like, I'm going to pick out my own clothes. So it's just really interesting. And I think you had some like really valuable lessons, Johanna. And I think it paid off because you were able to also get that discount. Like you went in there with the energy of, I'm worth it. I'm in there for me. And I feel like the universe came back and said, yes, here you go. And I'm going to take care of you.
I love that. Thank you.
So I work right next to the mall. And so I went on my lunch break, and I typically only have an hour lunch, sometimes only half hour, but it's right next to it. So it's like a minute drive. So I just, traded parking lots pretty much. And I go in there and I'm like, okay, I have an hour to get lunch, eat lunch, and also do this challenge. And so I quickly got lunch and I ate, and then I went to Nordstrom, which I never shop at Nordstrom because it is very expensive. And I usually shop at Nordstrom Rack. Well, not usually, I shouldn't say that. I usually shop at thrift stores because I'm totally fine with secondhand. I feel like it's very difficult to justify spending more than $5 on a shirt because it's just fabric. So I never shop at Nordstrom, ever, ever, ever. But for this challenge, I thought, okay, I'm worth it. I'm going to see if me wearing Nordstrom clothes will help me to like lift my energy, and also like help me walk taller and say, I am worthy of this. So I go in there and there's so many workers there, and I felt like Pretty Woman, but the opposite experience, like before she gets all the help, like where people were just staring at me and judging me, and I was just like, I've got money. Like I just
and then at the end you get to say, big mistake.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. But I didn't like it. Everything I was looking at, I was just like, oh, this is all ugly. I can't do it. I can't sacrifice my style, kind of like Johanna's experience, just to feel worthy. And it was a lesson to me that I don't have to wear something I don't want to wear to feel worthy, because the worthiness should already be there. And the idea of this challenge was to just already feel worthy and show that in your appearance, like taking care of yourself, getting something that's expensive because you are worth it, not get something expensive to make you worth it. So instead of sacrificing the style to feel worthy, I didn't do it. And I posted this on our Instagram page and I just said, I failed. Sorry, couldn't do it. I literally found a shirt that was $125. It was a t-shirt. Like it didn't even have like anyone's logos on it. It was just like some simple like pink and purple army design or something. And I was just like, $125 for a t-shirt. The principle of that is crazy. And maybe it's because I'm not a millionaire and 125 is actually not very much to those millionaires. I don't know, but that was absurd to me.
Yeah.
That's like a week's worth of groceries. So I went the 2 days after that on my lunch break again. I said, okay, I'm not going to go to Nordstrom. I'm going to go to Macy's, which I thought Macy's was an expensive store, but it's actually not that expensive. It has expensive items, but it's not that expensive. I think it's comparable to JCPenney. But I also never shop there because I literally just shop at thrift stores and like Target. So I went in there and immediately I was like, I like this, I like this, I like this. And I had like a whole bundle and I was like, okay, well, I got to try these on. I have less than an hour. And so I tried on maybe, I don't know, 10 items, which I recorded also on our Instagram, and I'm like modeling them, and multiple items were making me dance. And if it doesn't make you dance, you don't buy it. Mm-hmm. That's been our rule for forever. And I love that we discovered that. But it's so true. And so I was like, hey, well, I don't need all of these things. It's not that I'm not worth it. It's just that I just don't need it because I'm also kind of a minimalist. So I decided to get jeans with like ripped holes in it because those fit my personality. They're kind of like edgier but they're really cute. And then I got this cool shirt that had this really cool graphic on the back that said the sun will rise. And then a cardigan that was really warm, but it just kind of all matched, I think. At least my personality thought it matched, and that's all that matters. So I went and they were all $40 each. So I was like, perfect, this is over $100. So I went and went to go buy it, and she's like, oh, okay, well, this was on sale, and this is and I took another $20 off for you. And I'm like, no, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, this has to be over $100. So it ended up also, like Johanna, also only ended up being $60 for all three of the items, which was really cool. So I had a lot of fun, and I wore it all day the next day. So Saturday, I wore it all day, and I loved it. I like felt just like it was fun to wear something new. It was refreshing. And then with the idea in my mind that I put it on intentionally, that I am worth wearing these cute clothes. So it wasn't that the clothes made me feel worthy or enough. It's that I had that intention that I am worthy of shopping at Macy's, and I can have these items every once in a while. Even in our budget, you can make things work. So really fun experience. And yeah.
I love that you got a whole outfit, first of all. And I love that your first time that you went into a store, you were okay with leaving. That you didn't go in thinking I have to get something, and you actually accepted challenge, accepted but failed. And that showed your perseverance of being true to yourself, not just that you went back the next day, but it was more important to stick to who you are and be worthy, even though you didn't purchase anything on the first day. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that you also brought up the dancing. Both of you guys brought up the dancing, and that has always been our thing. Like, if it doesn't make you dance, it ain't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I think that could also apply to like the people you're dating, the friends, your job. Like, if the things in your life don't spark joy, like we've heard that phrase kind of become popular, but for us is if it doesn't make you dance, then like don't do it. I think we should incorporate that in like all aspect of our lives.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This was such a fun challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I already know that for me, my Freebird boot obsession has just started, and I'm already planning my next pair. And even though my stuff wasn't, super discounted, I honestly was thinking about how much I had spent, and that I will wear these every other day and they will pay for themselves. And I have no regrets about the price tag at all. And they were completely worth it. And I'm really excited to continue to wear them. So,
that's awesome. Yeah. You are worth it.
Mm-hmm. I'm worth it. You are worth it.
And you are worth it, Johanna.
And you're worth it. We're all worth it.
So with that said, Johanna has the new truth and dare for this coming week, which this actually, like, the more we do it, I'm just getting more excited. Like, I'm so excited for our next dare because every week has been such a positive experience. I've learned so much. So I'm excited.
Me too.
Okay. So this truth and dare is actually kind of tied to the one that we just did, because we're over here talking about like we are going out and we're saying we're worth it. This is now the opposite side. And I just have been really focusing on being grateful. At the beginning of the year, we all write our New Year's resolutions. I put on my vision board that I need to be more grateful. I want to say outwardly, thank you more often. And I have it up at my kitchen and I see it all the time. And I was looking at it the other day and I was feeling extremely grateful because here we are in November. It's been almost a whole year now. And I feel like I've come a long way, to be honest. And I have, made a mindset to really try to be grateful. And now it is coming a little bit more naturally for me. And so this experience was really good for me because I am so grateful for my sisters, this podcast. I'm so grateful for the clothes that I do have and the growth that I have come. And anyway, and it's perfect because I'm like feeling this way as it's going into Thanksgiving. This holiday, everybody talks about, let's be thankful, say the 10 things you're grateful for in life and everything. Well, you know what? You're going to do it. So my question is, when was the last time we began to envy someone? So when was the last time you just started to envy someone for whatever? Their clothes, their car, their house, their goals, their talents, their personality, their smile, their job. When was the last time you envied someone for whatever reason? Let's start with Anike.
I have a name in mind. I don't know if it was the last time. I really try to not compare myself because it really brings me down like a lot. And I start getting into those overthinking patterns of like, what if I did this and I need to be this way and I need to change. And of course it came from social media. So I can't think of anyone else that quickly, but the name that comes to my mind is, and maybe I won't name names, but I went to college with this guy and we were really good friends. Like I was in his like wedding dinner party and everything. And we hung out quite a bit, and he married the girl that was like one of his best friends that I also went to college with. And they were like perfect for each other, like equally sarcastic, similar personalities. And they were both like really like poor, like they didn't have anything. They were poor college students, just like me. And so we were like kind of in the same stage of life, like didn't have a lot of money and we were just in college. And they got married. They both came from richer backgrounds. Their parents are from a richer part of Utah, and both their parents have like really big houses. So I think they already have that difference from me, is where we grew up very differently. But when they got married, he, we'll just call him John and her Jody. John he got a job, a well-paying job, because he majored in something that helped him get a well-paying job. And she also got a job. She was also a dancer. So she always posted these like beautiful dance pictures with like her legs like jumping in the air and just really elegant. And she's like very thin. She's got like exotic eyes. So she's just beautiful. And he's cool. and he got this really good job. And then they had children, and their children are like striking, and they on social media they always look perfect. Like the kids just look so beautiful, always put together. Their hair is always not tangled like my kids. And they have a huge house, and they're always posting about the new renovations they're doing in their house. They got to live in a country outside of the US for like several months with their family, which is a dream. And they're just always posting these things. And I just stare at them like with awe, like, why did they get this? Like, why did they get this life? Like, why can't I have this life? And I've heard stories from another mutual friend that they started becoming kind of judgmental, because like sometimes when you get money and you associate with people with money, not always, because there are very kind, rich people, but sometimes you tend to look at people without money differently. And so they were seeming like kind of more judgmental and stuff. And so I would I don't know that. That was a story I heard. So I would compare myself to their lifestyle and think like, I want this house. I want to look like them. Their kids look better. Their kids have better opportunity. They get to be in dance lessons. They get to pay for all these wonderful things for their kids. But then I would get jealous or envy them and start saying, well, they're judgmental and I'm not judgmental. And I was judging them. So I am judgmental. And so it just shows that like envy really hurts you, and it doesn't even hurt that person. They had no idea how I was feeling. This was all just like an internal battle that was keeping me stuck. So that's the experience I can think of that probably was just a couple years ago. I can't think of anything more recent though.
Wow. What about you, sis, Bretagne?
Yeah, wow, what a good story. And you really painted a visual there, Anike. Thank you for doing that. Mine is a little simpler. I have this friend who is gorgeous and funny and stylish and confident and speaks her mind and doesn't let anybody walk on her. And I've seen her in many, many occasions just stick up for herself, but not in a snappy, like, don't tread on me, but just, I deserve to be here. And I am exactly where I need to be. And I deserve to take up space. And I am not sorry you're not used to a confident woman standing in the same space as you. She just has this way about her. And I love being around her. But there was a time several months back where we were spending some time hanging out and I wasn't feeling very adequate. I was letting people walk on me. I was not speaking up. I was not vocalizing my needs and really diminishing my own value and kind of changing my behavior based on the perceived needs of other people, not even the expressed needs, but the perceived needs. And so I was kind of dimming my shine, dimming my desires, and she was not. And it wasn't just in this like confident, beautiful way. It was also like, you know what? I'm having a bad day and I don't have to pretend that I'm having a good day just because you're around. I'm allowed to have a bad day. And she just says it with so much confidence and power. And in that moment, I was like, I envy that. I envy how confident you are in not just the beautiful parts, but also the imperfect and the seemingly ugly parts. You know, to say that you had a bad day or that this went wrong, or you share an embarrassing story, but you say it with such strength and oomph. Oh, I envied that. I envied that. And so that's probably the last time that and I didn't say her name, you know, we'll say her name's Mary. And it's not the last time I've hung out with Mary. I'll continue to hang out with Mary. I adore Mary. But I just remember so much being like, I wish I had what she had. It kind of reminded me of that Meghan Trainor song. If I was you, I'd want to be me too.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just thinking like, you know, yeah, I love me, but gosh, I'd want to be you too.
That's awesome.
I think both of your stories are so relatable. I've been in both of those situations. I think the most frequent that I feel envious is similar to Anike's, like someone with a nice house. Also, like being a mom, like I see moms that seem so well put together. Like they do crafts with their kids and they're, you know, sharing it on social media. Like, oh, like, look at this new craft I came up with and this new cookie and new recipe I did. And my kids are smiling and happy and not watching 8 hours of TV like my kids. And so I'm just like a little envious that they have all this energy to do stuff. And then I actually posted on one of my mom pages on Facebook and I was like, hey, like I'm going through some stuff. I don't like how much TV my kids watch. And I told them kind of like the things that we do, that, you know, I wake up and I make sure that they don't watch too much TV, but that we, you know, eat breakfast and do stuff. And then And then like every once in a while we try to go to the park or to the jungle gym or something. And I just giving them like a lowdown of what I do. And they're like, oh, like some moms were like, that seems like a lot of stuff to me. And then other moms were like, well, you can try doing this. And then my best friend texts me and she's like, why are you so hard on yourself? I'm like, why would it be okay to let my kid watch 8 hours of TV every single day? Like, that's not okay with me. And yet I keep letting it happen. And, you know, like every day is different and you do what you can handle. I just feel like I need to do a little bit more. And so I'm like envious of moms who seem to do a little bit more. And so here the dare is, the next time that you see someone that you're envious of for whatever reason, it could be anything small or large, first smile. Because how much you want to bet you got your RBF face, okay? And you're over there being envious about them, and they're over there like, why is this person glaring at me? I don't even know them. Okay, so the next time you're envious, put a smile on your face. And then you can, the next two things are interchangeable. You can either go up to that person and compliment them, and then, you know, think to yourself, like, I'm grateful for all these things. Or you can reverse it. You can start with, you know, giving yourself that self-care that you need, and looking within yourself and looking at and like rewinding a little bit before you saw all those things that you thought were worth envying about, and erase that and look at your life and say, wow, like I have a good life. I have clothes on me, and cute clothes because we just went shopping and it was all worth it. But not just that, because sometimes we go through really hard things. Sometimes you're on your deathbed and it's really hard to think what's there worth being grateful for. And you know what? There is always something worth being grateful for. What if you're on your deathbed in a nice hospital? What if someone got to visit you? What if you have that moment to think of what you're being grateful for? Because some people just get it taken away from them instantly. So there's always something that you can be grateful for. And then go give that person a compliment. Whether it's in person or you saw it on social media, humble yourself and be prideful about yourself. Like, it's both. And go tell them that they're amazing and keep doing what they're doing, because that's awesome. So
I love that. I think another thing is you can, well, first of all, smiling is huge, because this is something that I talk about with coaching people, and in my book, physical movement will get you unstuck, and there's science behind, if you're in a bad mood, if you just smile, it gives signals immediately to your brain that makes you feel a little bit better, because you're when you smile, your brain's like, oh, we must not be in a bad mood. And so smiling is huge, and I'm teaching my kids that too. And I said, Anders, I know you're sad right now, but let's just smile and see what happens. And he'll start smiling, and then he'll start laughing. He goes, I already felt better. So it works. So I love that you said that the first step is to smile, which goes in with what I do. You're aware of your overthinking, and then you have movement, and that movement is smile. So, and then complimenting them and then having self-care is huge, because it comes into humility, and then it also helps give you like self-reflection. So I'm excited for this. I think it's really going to be helpful and a good experience. And then also, of course, being gratitude. Having gratitude is one of the highest vibrations that you can operate at. And it's impossible to be living in a state of lack if you are in a state of gratitude. So thank you, Johanna, for bringing this up. I'm excited.
Yeah, I love this so much, Johanna, because this is something I've been working on. But for this challenge, just over probably this last year, anytime I found someone who had something I wanted, instead of tearing them down in my mind instead of judging them or going, oh, well, it's probably daddy's money, or they're probably born skinny, or I bet she's actually a horrible person, tearing them down to make myself feel better. Intentionally, I go, oh my gosh, if she has arms like that, I can get arms like that. Or if I get to be around such a strong, confident woman, then I am also lucky to be around her, and I can be strong and confident too. And instead of being, so even when you brought up envy, I was like, you know what, there's not a lot I envy of, because I am so grateful. And I'm really excited to put this into practice with an awareness piece, because I have been working on it and it's slowly becoming automatic. But to sit and go, you know what, I'm feeling envious. I'm going to smile and I'm going to go through. I'm excited to see if the results are the same or not. And the compliment piece, I only compliment every now and then because I'm always so in my zone. It's not that I don't want them to feel good or I'm uncomfortable approaching them. I'll just see someone like, damn, she's beautiful. Love her boots. And then I go on to what I'm doing, but I don't say it to her. And I love that piece, because I think that is the missing piece in this situation. So thank you for this challenge.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it, because, the days that I'm not feeling my best, someone has complimented me. And I'm like, really? I look cute today? Thanks. Like it changed something so simple. Like can change someone's whole day. So
yeah, I think it can mean a lot. And I like what you said, Bretagne, because I think if we switch how we our thinking, like have a perception reframe, instead of saying like I'm envious of this person, you could say they are empowering me, they are inspiring me. If they can do it, I can do it. Why not me? And it's like the 4-minute mile thing, where people didn't think that a human can run a mile in less than 4 minutes until somebody did. And now it's like common. Now like hundreds of people can run a mile in under 4 minutes, but they had that mindset that nobody could. And once they changed that perception, and once they saw someone else do it, maybe some people are like, oh, I wish I could run like them. And maybe they become envious, but there are others that took that challenge and said, if they can do it, I can do it. So switching to, instead of saying, I want what they have, saying like, if they can do it, I can make that happen too.
I love that.
And also remember that, we're given certain talents and gifts and desires. And if we desire to have something, if we desire to be more confident, if we desire to stick up for ourselves, to not dim our shine, then we have the ability to do it. So if you have the desire, you also have the skill. You just need to practice it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Johanna, for the challenge.
I'm so
now
excited.
You guys need to post so people can see on our Instagram page.
I know I'm the worst.
But we talk about it anyway. So I'm super excited for this. I think this was a really fun episode. And it's easy to have a podcast with you guys, you girls, you mamas, you goddesses, because you are so open to learning. And I feel like every dare, even shopping, became a profound experience for all of us. And so this is just what's so cool. And I hope that other women will jump on this bandwagon of following these dares and challenge themselves, because they can have these experiences that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Absolutely. Well said. I'm excited to see what you guys experience and post on social media. And we'll get back together next week for a new truth and a new dare.